I'm such a fan of work stoppages and things like that. I think they are a great way to force people to recognize and negotiate.
You got to have some decent amount of support to pull that type of stuff off, because it could take months, if not years, of work stoppages to get what you want. And
hmm
oftentimes, the people that need to do work stoppages are the people that can't really afford to pull something like that off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for our first topic, Florida under fire. The governor of Florida decided to pass a couple laws here which prevents multiple, multiple. Starts off with illegal immigrants and, them being deported. Also finding businesses for, like, giving these guys work, going down to the medical billing too. Whole bunch of shit. And they were tired of it. They said, you know what? We're not coming to work one day. And is this a smart move on them? Does this, bring more light? Is this going to be a way for them to get help, maybe even change some of the things around?
You talk about Meatball Ron here, Ron the Sanctimonious.
I don't even like saying his name. That dude's a moron, bro. Not gonna lie to you.
He's about to be our next president, man.
I can't even say that's never gonna happen, because look what happened the first time.
Anything can happen, Tony.
Yeah,
he's running for president, so we'll see how it goes. I think, I know this is a deviation, but right now him and Trump are eating each other alive, and
for sure,
a lot of people in the Republican Party are now forced to choose between like who they want to support. And
Pence just tossed his hat in the ring too. He just announced his he just filed some paperwork that it seems to indicate he's going to go for a presidential run.
Yeah, that's a shit show that your former VP is going to decide to run against you. It kind of feels like, I'm not going to say like orchestrated, but it kind of seems like the RNC is probably like, if they're going to choose to go against Trump, they're like, yeah, maybe convince like Mike Pence to run because it may look bad on Trump or something. But
yep,
I heard that if Trump doesn't get the Republican nomination, he's going to run third party just to divide the base.
Yeah, I mean, that would be excellent because Cornel West is deciding to run for president, and that's only going to steal some Democratic votes. So we need some balance. Yeah. But yeah, about these Florida bills. It's interesting because it's like illegal immigration, right? It's called, right. We call it illegal immigration, so it's like it's obviously illegal, but it's also like these bills just seem so hateful. I'm like, what's the real intent? Like what problem are we really solving? You know what I mean? Like, is illegal immigration like a problem big enough to like devote like political, like wasting political capital on? Like I don't know. I don't know what we're solving by doing this. I think a lot of people have this like notion that like the South Park meme, they took our jobs. I don't think that seems to be the case. That anybody's like really taking our jobs. They seem to be filling a role in this country that a lot of Americans don't want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's been busing migrants over to New York for almost a year now. And a lot of different Texas is doing it. A whole bunch of states in the South are doing it. And the shit is just, I mean, I'm happy we're getting them, and if anybody could do it, you could make it here selling socks. You know what I mean? We'll find the spot for them. We'll find a place for them. Construction, no matter what. They're a great group of people, man. It sucks to see the backbone of this country kind of being treated like that. Once again, I feel like it's the same It's the same audience that is like shitting on Target and shitting on Budweiser and shitting on anybody who's bringing anything gay or trans into their marketing or anything like that. I think it's like it's the same people, bro.
There's a lot of overlap for sure. I mean, it's interesting because I've read things that say that like people that are, you know, in the country, you know, illegally, however you want to word it. I forget the better phrasing for that, honestly. Undocumented workers, I guess, or undocumented migrants. But they claim that when they're working, they're actually contributing more to taxes and things like that than they ever are taken out of the system. Partially because, you know, they don't have access to those. Partially because a lot of them live in fear of applying for government programs and things like that. So they're contributing more than they're taking. So what is the actual problem? What are we solving here?
So like just to name off some of the well, not some of it, but the stuff is E-Verify requires employers to use E-Verify to check employment eligibility of the employees and find those who are not using E-Verify for $1,000 per day. So you're going to get a fine $1,000 per day if you have people there or the company is not using E-Verify for each employee. Suspends license of any employer who has or knowingly employs illegal aliens and using fake IDs to gain employment. Also providing $12 million to continue the unauthorized alien transport program to relocate the illegal immigrants.
I love how Republicans are always like freedom first, our rights, our freedoms, and then they be making these bills that are so like it's like almost a police state.
Absolutely.
That shit's wild to me.
And then it requires
to
hospitals.
be fair, I think they would say that it's freedom for Americans, and because these people are not Americans and or I should say undocumented, they don't get access to the same freedoms that Americans do.
But they work and pay taxes still. That's the
Sure,
funny
yeah, I
part.
don't disagree. I'm just
Like, I don't know. Since I live in Florida, obviously, so does Pucho, but like it's more towards South Florida. All these guys didn't come to work. The people didn't come to work. It literally messed up a lot of businesses. Even my job was affected by it. Like we went to go deliver equipment. No one's at the construction field at the job sites. No one can offload. No one can load. So there was nobody working, and you know, construction companies had to shut down for the day. They're like, "Yo, we can't do nothing. We can't continue working on these roads. We can't continue laying, you know, sewage pipes and water pipes for the city." So a lot of the stuff was on standstill, restaurants and everything. Like just going down there in Miami and, you know, trying to talk to customers. Half the customers are at their shops. I'm like, "Yo, why you guys, what's going on?" He was like, "Bro, we don't have any employees." I'm like, "Wait a minute. All of your employees are illegal immigrants?" Guy was like, "Apparently." I was like, and it's a big, I'm not going to say the company's name, but it's a huge company. And they have multiple multi-million-dollar job sites just sitting there with nobody there. So it's just like, damn. So I'm wondering if this is like, you know, just going to wake up the governor, open his eyes, be like, "Yo, maybe you need to take a step back, bro, because your city's being run by these illegal aliens." Whether you like it or not.
I'm such a fan of work stoppages and things like that. I think they are a great way to force people to recognize and negotiate.
yeah. Unfortunately, it's like you gotta have some decent amount of support to pull that type of stuff off, because it could take months, if not years, of work stoppages to get what you want. And oftentimes the people that need to do work stoppages are the people that can't really afford to pull something like that off.
I mean, this would be the advantage of having some kind of union or something, right? Because unions typically have like what do they call it? Assistance funds or something like that to help people through whenever they're doing strikes or work stoppages or anything like that.
I thought Florida was like a non-union state or some shit like that.
It's a right to
It's
work.
it's a right to work, so it makes it harder to start unions because then people
You'll just get fired.
You'll just get fired. They'll just bust you.
Right. You gotta
Same with
secretly form a union or whatever, but they can't stop a union from existing. You know,
Yeah,
union's just a collection of people that are gonna say, "Okay, we'll all quit." You're gonna fire 20 of us at once, like.
Yeah. I mean, it. What's crazy is too, like, just not going into work. That kind of opens the eye, like, oh wow, we need them, and also like, wow, this company really has that many people that are undocumented working for them. It's like a magnifying glass. You're just like, okay, we're gonna definitely come back to you and talk to you about this and that. So I mean, in retrospect, you're gonna hurt the city more than them being here, to be honest. So it's like, groceries, like the farm jobs and all that, all these jobs that, people think like, oh, we don't need them here. Who's going to go and do those? Not me. I'm not going to go out there picking tomatoes for 35 cents a day type shit. I'm not going to do any of that. For no way in hell.
It seems like Florida's just attacking everyone that's not Christian and straight.
They're I
They're
forget
attacking gay. The Don't Say Gay bill. Now you can't. They banned the drag shows. You can't bring in children around some shows or some shit like that. It's just a really. I don't know why
the
anyone.
anti-woke bills.
Yeah.
Which in their definition, woke just means black. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Did you see that politician that came out? I forget who it was that came out, and they when they were defining woke, they said basically, it's anti-white. It's anything that's not white.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
It seems like a very not place I would want to go and live. I think.
Damn, that's wild because Florida used to be like your next stop plan, right?
Yeah, for sure. I would never want to live in a place like that. Like, fuck that. The shit is so backwards. Everyone's so stupid. I don't know how to they're just
I'm not gonna lie to you, though. I blame most of the Hispanics for this. They're the ones that go hard. The Cubans and the other Hispanics, they go hard for Ron. They go hard for them.
I think you get hateful groups in every group of.
They're not
people.
even hateful. They just so, I don't know what it is, bro. They suck that Kool-Aid up so much that they don't even have knowledge of what's going on, bro.
It's simple, Tony. It's simple. All that they have to do is drop a political ad and say that the Democrat that's running is a socialist, and those Cuban people they'll line up to vote for whoever is running against the socialist. Like that's what it comes down to.
It's not only that, but a lot of Cuban people don't even want to be identified as Cuban. They want to be identified as white American. So they'll shed that entire Cuban identity. And so they don't care about Cubans. They don't care about anybody else. You know what I mean? They're just as racist as like the white racists. Like, it sucks, but it is what it is. I don't ever it sucks. It sucks, but you definitely get a lot of that, even up here.
Do you think they should do another protest and stop work again?
Yeah, I think people should just move out of Florida and say, you know what I mean? And say, fuck that economy and move out elsewhere. Move to Georgia, move to all the neighboring states where they're accepting of immigrants. Come up to New York.
And how long do you think that lasts until you get overpopulated?
No, I don't think anything. I don't think everybody always talks about overpopulation, but there's more than enough room for anybody up here.
There's a lot of land in the middle of the country, I'll tell you that much.
I bet ain't nothing out there though.
Yeah, they got the East Coast cities going up and down. They got Virginia. They got a lot of choices, and I think they'll be much better off than supporting and giving taxes to that type of ideology.
Where are they going to live in these places, though?
I'm just saying they can go to Atlanta. They can go to North Carolina.
Let's say you drop a bunch of immigrants off in New York City. Everybody's already complaining about gentrification, about how expensive housing is and all this stuff. It's like, where do all these people go to live? Like,
We're having a migrant crisis right now because there's so many migrants being shipped to New York that we just don't have enough. It's basically stressing the shelter system out. So we're busing them to friendly counties and stuff like that in New York.
So what do you think is going to happen in Georgia? Like, Georgia's the first state right there. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like,
I think Florida's sending a clear message. We don't like black ideology. We don't want immigrants here. Let them have their little purity land down there. I think personally, if Disney didn't have so much invested, they'd be the fuck out too.
I think Disney is honestly making moves to get out of Florida. I don't think that's going to be an impossibility there.
Yeah, I just don't see why anybody would want to be somewhere where their constituents are telling them to get out.
Tony, are you about to ask where would Disney move to?
No,
Anywhere.
I'm asking you, where did you get this information from?
Oh no, I don't have any information. I don't have any special information. I just would be very surprised if they weren't making moves like that.
Okay.
If you've got a government that's openly going to war with your corporation, to like a legal war against your corporation, cut losses. They've got more money than God. They can move wherever they want to, and any state they choose to move to is going to offer them so many tax breaks and so much incentive to move there. They could announce tomorrow they're going to move out to Ohio. They would bend over backwards to get Disney in Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Ohio would bend over backwards. Those people have lost so much like business over the years that like they would fucking bend over. They wouldn't even charge Disney a thing. It would just be pure benefits. They'd just be happy to have so many jobs come to the state.
Disney could move up to Detroit and revitalize that entire fucking city, dude. Like,
that's crazy how Disney has that much power. It creates a massive amount of jobs. The hotels they'll build up. Like, it would definitely change the whole entire state.
It immediately turns whatever city they go to into a tourist town.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was gonna say that to Doe's point, two things. One, all these decisions by Ron DeSantis, because I'm left wondering, like, what's the point of doing this stuff? And I can't think of any point besides like. It just seems politically popular among his base to do so. Like, I don't think these things are going to be good for the state and for the people, but I do think it's going to help him get reelected if he wants to run in Florida, and I do think it'll help him like get a presidential bid. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to look to Florida and be like, "Oh, he did so good," you know what I mean? That and. To Doe's point, the people that like him, I'm not going to lie, they're pretty dumb. That's usually the feeling I have. Like, when I see people that are like, oh, they love him so much, I just be like, you're dumb. Like, when I really like the conversation they're having, they don't give a damn about the impact any of this has. They just care that, like, he's sticking it to the man. Or I don't know who the man is in this case, but he's fighting the liberals, you know what I mean? And they just love the idea of that, even though these actions are not good for them or anyone really. But I don't know, it just seems so strange to me.
Agreed. Like, it's almost like those videos of when Trump was going and they asked the fans like, "Oh, what about Trump this or what about that?" And they were just saying offlandish shit. Like, did it make sense? But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be nice if they do another protest again.
I think so.
Or maybe a week. I mean, that's going to be hurting them though, pocket wise. You know what I mean? Money. But that would, I mean, a week shutdown. Oh man, we're talking millions. Like, at this point, he's gonna have to wake up and be like, damn. Like, there's no way we can do this without them.
The NAACP just they issued a travel warning for African Americans going down to Florida, kind of just telling them not to go.
Yeah, that was weird though. I don't know.
I think
like,
it's appropriate.
I don't. Based on what?
All this legislation that's being passed.
Like what legislation's being passed that like
Don't say
black people are
gay.
in danger?
Don't say gay bill. It just seems like a place where a wide array of people are actively being told they don't want to be there.
I will say like the fact that these things are getting passed and there's people that celebrating it, it does make it feel like Florida might be moving up the ranks on like the most racist states, possibly. I don't
It
know
was
what
always up there.
I don't know what the definitive ranking of the most racist states is, but I feel like Florida's moving up the ranks for sure.
Same. It's a shame.
I feel like if you were going to be charitable, right? Like what these bills really represent, right? Are like, these are a series of topics that we don't think are appropriate for our children. I don't think that in and of itself is that hateful. Like, I don't think it's hateful at all. Now, the things you decide or the reasons why you're saying they're inappropriate and things like that, like those things could come from a hateful place. But I don't know how, like, I don't know. I saw the NAACP issue that travel advisory, and I'm like, what is this even? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like such a weird gesture. Like, I was like, even reading through it, I'm like, what thing are they really pointing to that makes traveling to Florida a dangerous place? It wasn't clear to me, but
I read it as just like the there's increase of racism and things like that go along with bills like this being passed. Like it's I mean, it's got roots back in what was that thing called, the Green Book or whatever? They made that movie about it, right?
Yeah, it's you remember sundown towns? A lot of them used to be down south. So it just goes back to that type of ideology that I feel like Florida's coming. It's weird, bro. It's very regressed way of thinking. But even when I go down there and I look around and I talk to people, I'm like, you guys are taking a long time for this, like, moving forward, like progressive. I was like, wow, this is very backwards thinking. They're still very extremely homophobic. It's just weird to me.
Pooch, did you see any of the stop work shit over there in Orlando?
nah, I don't really work in like any fields that are like, or even I'm not even around like that much construction. So I be working from home now. I don't even leave my house most days. So it's like, yeah, I'm not the right person to ask on what the situation is like out here, to be honest. And my opinion just purely stems from the stuff that I've read. I've read that there's like a lot of truckers and things like that that are refusing to come into the state and are moving out of the state and doing work elsewhere and things like that. All that just sounds bad to me. Not bad on those people, but just bad that the climate that's been created here is going to stifle like business opportunities and stuff like that. But
Yeah, nah, it's sad that this is going on. But this is why voting is important, and actually doing your research on who you're voting for, because you wouldn't be in this situation. But either way, see what happens, and hopefully this goes in a better direction.